Welcome. You are not here by accident. You have been summoned by the invisible law that governs all life, the law that hears the secret whisper of your heart and draws to you the teacher when the pupil is ready. I am Joseph Murphy, and I speak to you not from time or tomb, but from the timeless realm of mind and spirit, where the word is still creative and the voice of the infinite speaks through all who will listen. Beloved soul, still your mind for a moment. Feel the pulse of your own breath, the rhythm of life beating beneath your ribs. That rhythm is the same law that spun the galaxies into motion, the same presence that said in the beginning, "Let there be light." And that light was not just the dawn of suns and stars, it was the illumination of consciousness. It was the first word spoken into the silence of possibility. That word is still creating through you this very hour. For your word is your seed, and your subconscious mind is the fertile soil of creation. Every syllable you speak, every thought you entertain with feeling, is a decree that moves into the depth of the subconscious, where it takes root and grows after its own kind. As it is written, death and life are in the power of the tongue. Proverbs 18:21. This is no mere proverb. It is a scientific statement of spiritual psychology. You are decreeing health or disease, joy or sorrow, success or failure by the pattern of your inner speech. Many pray, but few understand the law of the word. They beg for health while affirming their sickness. They plead for peace while rehearsing the chaos of their days. They cry for abundance while sowing words of lack. They pray to God but speak as though God were deaf. And so their prayer becomes a contradiction, a garden planted with weeds beside the rows. The soil does not judge, it simply grows whatever is placed within it. I tell you truly, the subconscious, his mind is impartial, exact, mathematical. It is the builder that never sleeps, the silent architect that shapes the substance of your world according to the pattern you impress upon it. You do not get what you want, you get what you believe, and belief is the union of word and feeling. The seed and its emotion mingle together. The mistake that blocks healing is not in the body, but in the word that governs the body. For the body is but the shadow cast by the mind. When the mind is illumined by the truth that every cell is under divine order, health blossoms like spring after winter. Say now softly with me, every cell of my body is under divine order now. Feel those words, not as a formula but as a living vibration. Feel them as truth, not hope. Let the words descend gently, like seeds settling into the rich soil of night. This is the prayer that heals, the prayer that is not a plea but a proclamation. For true prayer is not begging for what already exists. It is recognizing that the divine pattern of health is within you and speaking it forth until it manifests. Imagine a builder who has the blueprint of a perfect cathedral but never lifts a stone. His faith in the plan will not raise the walls. He must speak to the masons. He must decree, build here and here and here. So must you speak to the builders within, the subconscious forces that take orders from your inner word. They await your command. They have no will of their own. They obey your decrees day and night. Therefore speak life, speak health, speak peace, speak order into the cells of your being, for your word is the divine blueprint in action. I remember a man who once came to me in New York, trembling with fear. He had been told by several physicians that his condition was incurable. His face was pale, his eyes dim with resignation. "Doctor," he said, "they have given me 6 months to live." I smiled gently and replied, "Who has given you 6 months to live, man or God?" He looked at me bewildered. "The doctors," he said. I answered, "The doctors can diagnose the condition of the body, but they cannot decree the condition of the spirit. You are not your disease, you are life expressing itself. Let us speak to that life." Together we entered the silence. I asked him to close his eyes, to imagine a river of light flowing through every organ, cleansing, healing, restoring. Then I gave him this affirmation: "Every cell of my body is alive with the healing presence of God." He was to speak it morning and night, not as an effort, but as a knowing. I told him to let the words fall softly, as one would sow seed into fertile ground before sleep. Within 2 months his condition had vanished like frost before the sun. The doctors were astonished, but he was not. He had learned that the subconscious mind, when given the right blueprint, will rebuild the body according to that divine image. Beloved, this is not a miracle. It is law. When the conscious mind impresses the subconscious with the feeling of health, that impression becomes a command to the life principle within. Just as a seed contains the full pattern of the oak, so the word health contains the full pattern of divine order. Speak it with faith, and the invisible architect will construct it in form. The ancients knew this. The prophets spoke in decrees, not complaints. Jesus said, "Lazarus, come forth." He did not analyze the tomb. He spoke life into the void. He said, "Be thou made whole." He spoke the end from the beginning. That is the way of Diviers. In law, when you speak the end with conviction, the means appear. When you declare the finished state, the universe reorganizes itself to fulfill it. You are the voice of that same creative power. The divine word is not limited to ancient lips. It speaks through you now. When you say, "I am strong," the subconscious begins arranging the chemistry of your body to reflect that command. When you say, "I am healed," your nerves, your glands, your cells begin to harmonize with that decree. But when you say, "I am weak," "I am sick," or "I can't," you have sent the builders a destructive pattern, and they build accordingly. Watch therefore the words that leave your lips, for they return to you clothed in flesh and circumstance. Think of your subconscious mind as a silent worker beneath the surface of the earth. You plant seeds by your thoughts and words. Time, emotion, and repetition water them. One day the harvest appears in your world and you call it fate, but it was your word made flesh. The modern scientists call it the placebo effect, the mysterious power by which belief itself heals, but what they call placebo, I call divine law. The body obeys the mind because the mind is its governor. The chemistry of belief is the alchemy of the spirit. This law is impartial. If you sow fear, it will grow. If you sow peace, it will bloom. The subconscious does not question whether you mean what you say. It simply records and executes. That is why idle words are never idle in effect. Every careless statement is a seed sown in the soil of your destiny. So guard your speech as a gardener guards the gate of his vineyard. Let no seed of doubt enter. Let no thief of negativity plant weeds in your night soil. When you lie down to sleep, let your last words be life-giving, for the moment before sleep is the sacred threshold where the conscious and subconscious meet. It is there, in that twilight of awareness, that you can impress divine order upon your body and your world. Tonight, before you sleep, I charge you to rewrite the script of your life. Take a moment of stillness, release all the words of complaint, fear, and pain that you have spoken in ignorance. Forgive yourself, for you were asleep in the dream of the world. Now awaken, for you are the author of a new chapter. Say quietly within yourself, "My word is my seed is my reality. Tonight I plant life, health, and abundance." Then close your eyes and see it as done. Feel your body glowing with vitality, your mind serene, your affairs prospering. Let that vision sink into the soil of your subconscious and sleep in the peace of the fulfilled word. For it is written, "So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void." The law of the word is absolute. Speak it rightly, and it shall heal. Beloved, listen closely, for what I speak now is the very gate between shadow and light, between the seen and the unseen. There is within you a keeper, a silent sentinel, the watchman of the subconscious mind. He does not sleep, though you slumber. He keeps record of every word you utter, every image you form, every emotion you feel. He guards the sacred vault of your inner temple, and whatever you allow through his gate becomes the law of your being. This watchman is not a judge, he is a servant. He takes what you impress upon him and multiplies it. If you sow words of fear, he magnifies fear. If you sow words of peace, he multiplies peace. He is the soil, your word is the seed. He has no choice but to grow what is planted. That is why I tell you with all the solemn authority of divine law, never speak of your sickness, your limitation, or your failure except as something to be overcome. To dwell upon it is to water the weed you wish to uproot. Speak instead of the divine pattern behind it, the perfection waiting to emerge. For every appearance of disorder is but the shadow cast by an unspoken truth. Within the subconscious there lies infinite intelligence, the same mind that forms the child in the womb and heals the wound without conscious effort. You do not tell your heart to beat, your lungs to breathe, your stomach to digest. Yet all this is done with precision beyond measure. This same intelligence will heal your body if you but speak the word of command in faith. Imagine now that you are standing before this watchman. He is clothed in silence, his eyes luminous with understanding. He waits for your decree. What will you speak? Will you give him words of doubt or words of life? Will you say, I am ill, or will you declare, divine life flows through me now? Choose wisely, for the word you choose becomes the law of your flesh. I have seen men transformed by a single decree spoken with conviction. A merchant burdened with debt and despair once came to me saying, everything I touch fails. I looked at him and said, it is because you have decreed it so. The world is only echoing your word. He bowed his head and wept. I said, let us reverse the decree. Together we affirmed, everything I touch prospers. He was to say it 100 times each day, not mechanically, but with feeling. Imagining that divine intelligence guided every transaction, every thought, every hand that reached for his. Within 3 months the tide had turned. His business revived, his health renewed, his home became radiant with peace. Why? Because the subconscious mind accepted the new blueprint and began to attract conditions corresponding to it. That which he had sown in word became flesh and circumstance. This is not magic, it is law. It is the same law by which the farmer sows wheat and reaps wheat. He does not plant thorns and expect figs. You cannot sow fear and reap faith, nor plant sickness and expect health. The harvest corresponds exactly to the seed. Therefore guard your inner speech. Let your words be holy. Every utterance is a command to the invisible servants within your being. Say only that which you desire to see manifested, and say it with the feeling that it is already accomplished. The feeling, yes, the sacred feeling, the carrier wave of the word. Without feeling, the word is like a seed cast upon stone. It cannot take root. The subconscious receives only that which is felt to be true. You may repeat words endlessly, but if your emotion denies them, the soil rejects the seed. Feeling is the magnet that draws substance to form. When you affirm health, you must feel health. When you speak abundance, you must feel abundance. When you decree peace, you must feel the still waters of peace flowing through your soul. This is the marriage of word and image, of faith and emotion, the sacred union that conceives reality. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine your body as a temple filled with light. See that light descending from the crown of your head, flowing through your spine, radiating into every nerve, every organ, every cell. As you see it, speak softly within yourself. Every cell of my body is under divine order now. Feel that order. Serene, rhythmic, effortless. The divine physician is at work in the secret chamber of your being. Let gratitude rise like incense. The subconscious will take this vision, this word, this feeling, and mold it into form. Now you understand why Scripture declares, by your words you are justified, and by your words you are condemned. Matthew chapter 12:37. Your word is the decree of kingship. You are the ruler of a realm, your inner kingdom, and your subjects, the thoughts and cells of your body, obey your voice. When you say, I am, you invoke the name of the Eternal. Whatever follows those words becomes your decree. Say therefore only that which is true of the divine, for that is the truth of you. Say, I am whole. I am radiant with life. I am guided by infinite intelligence. Divine love surrounds me, enfolds me, and protects me. Speak it until your subconscious accepts it as fact. Speak it until your body vibrates with the tone of truth. Speak it until the old patterns dissolve and new life blossoms from within. Do not be deceived by appearances. The outer condition is but the echo of an old word. Change the word and the echo must change. Speak to the unseen and the seen will conform. That is the eternal law. A woman once came to me who had suffered for years with chronic pain. She had prayed, pleaded, and despaired. Nothing changed. I said to her, you are praying from pain, not to health. You are magnifying the shadow instead of the light. Let us reverse it. I instructed her to sit quietly each night before sleep, to relax her body, and to imagine herself surrounded by a gentle, radiant light. I said, let the last words upon your lips before you sleep be these. Every cell of my body is under divine order now. The healing presence of God restores me completely. She was to feel it as true, not to hope or wish, but to know. Within 2 weeks, the pain began to fade. Within a month, it was gone. She returned to me with tears of gratitude, saying, Doctor, it is as though my body has been reborn. And I replied, your body merely obeyed the new command. You spoke the word of life, and the law fulfilled it. Beloved, do you see now? You are the author of every chapter of your life. The pen is your word, the ink is your emotion, the parchment is your subconscious. Write wisely. The law will publish what you have written into the book of experience. Therefore, before you speak, pause and ask, do I wish to see this appear in my world? If not, remain silent, for silence is better than the word of fear. The tongue is a creative instrument. Use it to bless, to heal, to build. Speak beauty into being. And when the world around you seems filled with contradiction, sickness, sorrow, limitation, do not yield your word to it. Remember that you are the voice of divine order. Say within yourself, peace, be still. Speak light into darkness as in the beginning. The word still has power to separate the night from the day. I tell you truly, the body responds to the tone of thought as an instrument responds to the musician's touch. You are that musician. You can play the melody of harmony or the discord of fear. Choose the melody of divine health and your body will dance to its rhythm. Say now, the healing river of divine life flows through me. I am whole, vital, and strong. Repeat it until you feel it. Let that feeling expand until it fills your consciousness. When you speak thus before sleep, the watchman at the gate hears it. He opens the door to the subconscious and the word enters. Then through the night the hidden forces of life begin to rebuild and restore. The cells respond like obedient servants, reorganizing according to the new decree. Therefore I say unto you, before you retire this night, practice the sacred art of the rewritten script. Take a pen and write new words for your life, not words of the past, but of the desired end. Write, I am whole. I am at peace. I am divinely guided. My word is my seed, and my seed is my reality. Then close your eyes and let those words drift into the golden silence. See them sinking deep into the soil of the subconscious. Sleep knowing that the harvest is already begun. For as it is written, He giveth His beloved sleep. In that sleep the divine builder labors. In the silence of night, the new temple of your health is constructed stone by stone, cell by cell, according to the word you have spoken. You are never alone in this process. The infinite hears you, for it is speaking through you. Your word is not your own. It is the echo of the word that said, Let there be light, and there was light. And now, beloved, let us go deeper still into the sacred marriage of word and vision. For the spoken decree alone is not the whole mystery. The word must be wed to image. Sound must be clothed in form. The subconscious speaks a language older than speech itself, the language of pictures and feeling. When you give it a picture and a word joined together in emotion, you have uttered the creative fiat of heaven and earth. Look again to the first chapter of Genesis. And God said, Let there be light, and there was light. The saying and the seeing were one. The word spoke, and the Spirit beheld its own image in manifestation. So also must you speak and see as one. For your word is the command, and your visualization is the blueprint delivered to the builders within. When I speak of visualization, I do not mean strained imagination or fanciful daydream. I mean quiet realization. You close your eyes, become still, and feel that which you desire to be is already existing. You hear within the words of affirmation, and you see with the inner eye the thing accomplished. This is the creative act of mind, the true prayer that heals. I recall a woman who came to me in Los Angeles. For years her hands had been stiff and painful. She said, Doctor, I have tried every treatment. I have prayed and nothing happens. I asked, what words do you speak when you pray? She answered, I keep saying, my poor hands, I wish they would get better. I smiled gently and said, you are holding the image of poor hands while affirming the wish. The subconscious hears only poor and pain. It obeys the image you feel, not the plea you utter. Let us change both the word and the picture. I guided her into silence and said, "See your hands now as radiant, supple, graceful. Imagine them glowing with the light of life. Feel the joy of motion, the ease of touch. And as you see it, say slowly, 'Every cell of my body is under divine order now.'" She practiced this before sleep each night. She would see herself writing, cooking, playing piano, her fingers flexible and strong. Within 3 weeks, the pain had lessened. Within 6, it had vanished. Her doctor called it spontaneous remission. I call it the lawful result of right impression. For nothing is more obedient than the body to the mind that governs it. The subconscious is the builder, but visualization is the architect's sketch it must follow. Without a picture, the builder works blindly. Without a word, the picture has no authority. Together they are the creative command. Therefore, when you affirm health, paint it upon the canvas of imagination. See yourself radiant, smiling, vigorous. When you affirm abundance, see your affairs ordered with ease, your table laden, your work blessed. When you affirm peace, see the calm river within, untroubled by storms. The image held in feeling is the mold into which substance flows. And remember, emotion is the power that quickens the form. Feeling is the breath of life breathed into the word. Say, "I am strong with indifference," and nothing moves. Say it with the inward thrill of truth, and life itself responds. The difference is not in the words, but in the vibration that carries them. As Paul wrote, "The letter killeth, but the Spirit giveth life." The letter is the repetition. The Spirit is the feeling of faith behind it. When you practice this union of word and image, choose the state you desire as though it were already yours. Never visualize the process, only the fulfilled end. Do not see yourself being healed. See yourself whole. Do not see money coming. See yourself rejoicing in sufficiency. The subconscious knows the way of manifestation better than you. Its wisdom will shape the means once the end is impressed. I once instructed a young artist who struggled to sell his paintings. He affirmed, "I am successful," yet inwardly saw empty galleries. I said, "Let the word and the picture agree." Each night, imagine your work hanging upon the walls of beauty. Hear the murmurs of appreciation. Feel the joy of creation rewarded. He followed faithfully. Within 2 months, a collector appeared, purchasing half his works. "It is uncanny," he said. "It feels as though the buyers were drawn to me." And I replied, "Indeed they were, for the word and image joined in your soul became a magnetic field that drew its likeness." Such is the law. The subconscious is impartial, but it is also generous. It gives increase to whatever seed is planted with conviction. If you dwell on health, health multiplies. If you dwell on fear, fear reproduces itself like creeping ivy. The gardener of your inner field must weed daily. He must uproot each thought that does not bear fruit of joy. Beloved, you were born a co-creator with God. The divine breath still whispers through your words. When you speak with love and faith, you are participating in the eternal Genesis. Each affirmation is a new morning in the universe of your being. Say therefore with quiet authority, "Let there be harmony in my mind. Let there be order in my body. Let there be abundance in my affairs." And behold, the word becomes flesh within and around you. Do not imagine that this power is reserved for saints or mystics. It operates in all alike. Even the unbeliever uses it unwittingly when he says, "I always catch a cold this season," and so he does. The law is no respecter of persons. It fulfills whatever is believed with feeling. The difference between bondage and freedom lies in the awareness of the law and its deliberate use. If ever you doubt, return to the simple practice of stillness. Sit quietly, close the eyes, breathe slow. And repeat, "I am the architect of divine order. My word builds after the pattern of perfection." Let those words sink until they become sensation, until peace floods the body and warmth moves through every limb. Then imagine the completed result, your healed body, your fulfilled life, until the feeling of possession eclipses all doubt. At that moment, the seed is planted. You need not force it. The law will bring the harvest. And now, let us pause together in sacred stillness. Imagine that your subconscious mind is a vast garden beneath a starlit sky. You walk among its furrows with a lamp of golden light. In your hand are seeds of words. You kneel, press them into the soil, and whisper, "My word is my seed. My seed is my reality. Tonight I plant life, health, and abundance. See them glowing in the dark earth. Feel the warmth of divine love descending like gentle rain. Know that even now the miracle of growth has begun. For it is written, the kingdom of God is as if a man should cast seed into the ground, and the seed should spring and grow up. He knoweth not how. The how is God's, the what is yours. Speak the what, trust the how. The watchman will see to its fulfillment. So as you end this day, remember the charge. Rewrite your script tonight with new words. Cast out every phrase that binds. Replace each with the language of life. You are the voice of creation. Speak as one who knows. Whisper before sleep. Every cell of my body rejoices in divine order. Divine love surrounds me, enfolds me, and protects me. I am divinely guided in all I do. Let those sacred decrees echo into the silence. The subconscious will hear, the universe will obey, the unseen builders will labor through the night, and when dawn returns, you shall awaken renewed, for the word cannot fail of its purpose. Beloved, the circle of this first teaching draws toward completion, yet the river of revelation does not end. It merely turns into a wider current, for every truth spoken must find its proof in living flesh, and every law revealed must walk among men that the doubter may see and believe. There was once a physician who came to me weary and skeptical. His science had taught him the anatomy of bone and tissue, but not the architecture of thought and word that stands behind them. Dr. Murphy, he said, I have seen bodies mend and break again without cause. What is this unseen factor that medicine cannot measure? I looked at him with quiet joy, for his question was the door of faith half open. I said, it is the pattern in the mind, the prayer spoken not with lips but with feeling. He laughed softly. You speak of religion. I speak of physiology. No, I answered, I speak of divine law, which is the root of both. Every organ of the body is a word made flesh. Every heartbeat is an echo of thought. When you heal the image in the mind, the body obeys as faithfully as light follows dawn. I told him the story of a soldier who had returned from war, his legs paralyzed by fear more than wound. For months he lay motionless, convinced his body was broken beyond repair. Physicians treated him with skill, but no result. One evening I sat by his bed and said, "Close your eyes, my son. Let us walk, not by legs, but by thought." I asked him to imagine standing on a hillside bathed in sunlight, to feel the earth beneath his feet, the wind upon his face. As he breathed, I repeated slowly, every cell of my body is under divine order now. Div. And life flows through me as strength and motion. At first his lips trembled. He whispered, I cannot. I answered, then let the law speak through you. Do not strive, simply feel that you are being moved by the infinite. We sat thus night after night. The word and the vision mingled until one evening a tear rolled down his cheek and he said, I feel my toes. Within weeks he walked. The body obeyed the restored image. The doctors called it miracle. He called it mercy. I call it the law fulfilled. The physician who listened to this story was silent for a long while. At last he said, then every patient is also a prayer. I answered, yes, and every word you speak over them is seed in their garden. Speak life. He returned to his practice with new reverence. Years later he wrote me that he had begun to use words of faith before every operation, and that healing had become swifter, complications fewer. The scalpel worked, but the word healed. Beloved, this same power sleeps in you, waiting for your command. You need not be prophet or priest. The law is written in the very fiber of your being. When you speak with feeling, you touch the current of creation. When you visualize with love, you direct that current. When you rest in faith, the current completes its circuit and manifests as health, peace, abundance. Therefore, tonight before the stars look down upon your sleep, enter the inner sanctuary and speak as one who knows the secret. Lay your hand upon your heart and feel its steady rhythm, the drum of eternity within you, and say softly, my word is my seed is my reality. Tonight I plant life, health, and abundance. Then see it. See your body radiant and whole. See your home filled with quiet joy. See your path bright before you. Let emotion wash over you until every cell responds with amen. This is the prayer that heals, the prayer of alignment, not petition. If doubt arises, remember the teaching. The subconscious is impartial. It cannot reject your decree once it is felt as truth. It will bring to pass even that which reason denies. You need only persist until the new belief is established. Faith is not strain, it is quiet knowing, the serene assurance that what you have sown will grow. So let your words tonight be few but living. Speak as did the Master. It is done, then rest. The unseen gardener will labor while you sleep. The sap will rise in secret. The buds will form unseen. And soon you shall behold the blossom in daylight. The law of the word is the oldest and simplest. Speak, believe, feel, and it shall come to pass. From Genesis to Revelation, from atom to galaxy, this principle sings. And God said, and it was so. Say likewise within your microcosm, let there be health, let there be peace, let there be light, and behold, it will be so. Now, beloved listener, the charge of this first part is laid upon you. Rewrite your script tonight with new words. Do not repeat the vocabulary of pain or limitation. Cast out every sentence that denies your divine inheritance. Write afresh upon the tablets of your heart. Every cell of my body rejoices in divine order. Everything I touch prospers. I am divinely guided in all I do. Divine love surrounds me, enfolds me, and protects me. Whisper them as you drift toward the border of sleep. Let them become the last sound your watchman at the gate hears, for he will carry them into the depths and build your tomorrow upon them. When morning comes, you will feel the quiet joy of a new creation stirring within, and I, who speak to you from the timeless realm, bless your word and your faith. May the river of divine life flow unhindered through your mind and body. May you know that the secret prayer that heals is not hidden in distant heavens, but alive in the syllables of your own heart. So let it be, so it is. Amen. Night descends softly over the world, and with it comes the hour of quiet restoration. All day the mind has gathered impressions, words, fragments of emotion, yet when evening stretches its velvet canopy across the heavens, the soul longs to lay those fragments down and let the inner life begin its work. Healing always begins in silence. Before the stars appear, sit in that hush and feel the rhythm of your own breathing. Each breath is a message to the body, a reminder that peace is the natural state. The ancient teachers said that the last thought before sleep is the seed of tomorrow. Modern science agrees in its own language. The nervous system follows the pattern of the final image you hold. So as you stand at the edge of rest, you become the gardener again, choosing what seed you will entrust to the night. Some choose worry, and the soil returns it multiplied. But you, dear listener, may choose calm, gratitude, and the quiet certainty that life is mending you while you sleep. See yourself lying upon a gentle current of light. That light is memory of health, of divine order. Whisper within, every cell of my body rests in perfect harmony now. I am safe, I am whole. Do not struggle to believe it. Simply let the words drift like soft music through the corridors of the mind. The subconscious hears what is repeated with feeling, not what is argued with logic. It receives tone more than syllable, vibration more than grammar. Imagine the brain as a vast field, every neuron a blade of grass bending toward the sunlight of an idea. When you speak kindness within, those blades lean toward life. When you speak fear, they bend toward shadow. The law is impartial, the harvest is your own. Therefore guard the last word before you surrender to sleep. Let it be one of healing and gratitude. I once knew a woman who had suffered long with illness. Doctors gave her medicine, yet her spirit remained tense, expectant of pain. One evening she decided to end each day differently. She would lie quietly, close her eyes, and say 10 times with slow conviction, "Life loves me and restores me." At first it seemed a small thing, yet in a few weeks her face softened, her breath grew easy, her nights restful. The change began not in chemistry but in consciousness. She had learned to whisper life instead of fear. So tonight do likewise. As you lay down, let the weight of the day fall away. If any thought of failure, anger, or worry arises, do not wrestle with it. Merely say within, "Peace, be still." Then replace it with a vision. Perhaps a morning light touching your window, your body refreshed, your heart light. Feel it as if it were happening now. The body will take that picture as instruction. Science calls it neuroplasticity. The mystic calls it faith. Both describe the same wonder. The mind reshapes itself around the image held most dearly. Your nightly whisper is the sculptor's hand. Speak softly, tomorrow I awaken renewed, strength flows through me, my path is clear. You have written the next chapter of your life without pen or paper. If you awaken in the night, do not reach for worry. Reach for a word of peace. One sentence is enough. I rest in the light of perfect love. Let it echo through the darkness like a small, steady star. Soon the body will respond. The heart will slow. The mind will sink again into its healing rhythm. This is the gentle discipline of the evening, what some call the whisper method, though it is only the art of speaking kindly to oneself when the world is silent. Practice nightly, it becomes a covenant between your conscious intent and the infinite intelligence that keeps you breathing as you dream. You will find that your mornings begin clearer, that old fears lose their hold, that decisions come with less effort. The subconscious has been tutored in peace, and it will live out the lesson faithfully. Before you close your eyes tonight, remember, words are not small. They are the bridges between the invisible and the visible. Every whisper is a builder's hand shaping tomorrow's house. Let your last act of the day be the laying of a sound foundation. Say quietly, I sleep in safety, I wake in joy, all things work together for my good. Then let go. The night will do the rest. Healing will rise unseen, like sap in hidden roots, and when dawn returns it will find you renewed, quietly radiant, ready to walk another day under the same eternal law of life that has never failed. Morning comes quietly, a pale gold mist on the horizon, the hush before sound returns to the earth. In that fragile space between dreaming and waking, your mind is still soft, impressionable, unguarded. The ancient sages called this the dawn gate. The moment when the soul chooses which world to step into. Before the noise of duties and headlines, before names and memories rush back, there is a pause where creation waits for your word. Lie still for a moment and feel the breath moving through you. Each breath is a renewal, a whisper from the invisible saying, you are alive again, you are being given another chance to build. Do not reach for the phone, the calendar, or the worry that remembers yesterday. Reach first for gratitude. It is the seed from which all good days grow. Say quietly within, thank you for this new morning. Thank you for the light that fills me. Thank you that all things are working together for my good. Feel the words, not as wish, but as recognition of a truth already moving beneath the surface of your life. As you speak them, you are aligning with the order that has kept the stars in place through endless ages. This is your morning creation ritual. The art of greeting the day as co-creator rather than as victim of circumstance. Now let your inner eye open and picture the hours ahead. See yourself walking calmly, speaking gently, accomplishing easily. Picture your body strong, your mind clear, your encounters kind. This is not fantasy. It is rehearsal. The subconscious will take your vision as instruction and weave it quietly into form. Every success you experience began first as an unseen picture held in faith. I once met a man whose life had been marked by failure. Every morning he awoke with dread, rehearsing disaster before he even rose from bed. One day he resolved to change that ritual. He decided to give the first minute of every morning to what he called the holy rehearsal. He would lie still, breathe deeply, and say, this day unfolds in perfect order. Everything I touch prospers. He did it faithfully for 30 days. Within that short time, his business found new clients, his health improved, and the heaviness in his heart lifted. It was as though life had been waiting for me to say yes, he told me. He had simply changed the script of his first words. Each dawn offers you the same choice. Will you echo yesterday's fear, or will you plant a new decree? Remember, the first words you speak each morning are the architects of your experience. Let them be words of life. Say softly, today I walk in peace. I am guided to right action. Divine love surrounds me and directs my every step. Then rise slowly, carrying that tone into the motion of dressing, eating, speaking. The vibration you set in that first minute will echo through the day like a bell's lingering hum. When the sunlight touches your window, imagine it entering your heart as light of understanding. Feel it wash through you, clearing the residue of old thoughts. You are a living temple of light. The same life that animates the stars pulses in your veins. The same intelligence that guides planets orbits your decisions when you allow it. As the psalmist wrote, "This is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it." In practical terms, it means this is the moment consciousness has given you. Respond with joy, and the day will mirror it back. If worry tries to intrude, do not resist violently. Simply replace. Picture a calm river and see the anxious thought as a leaf carried gently away by the current. Then reaffirm, "Only good comes to me today. I live in harmony with all life." Repetition with feeling writes new grooves in the mind. Science names it habit formation. Spirit names it faith made flesh. Both are true. Let your morning routine become an act of quiet ceremony. As you wash your face, think, "I cleanse my mind of all that no longer serves me." As you eat, think, "Divine substance nourishes me." As you walk out the door, think, "I carry peace wherever I go." These small inward gestures transform ordinary motion into worship, and the world will begin to meet you with the same courtesy you have shown yourself. Remember, too, that your words affect not only your mood but the field around you. A calm mind radiates order. When you walk into a room with that inner peace established at dawn, people feel it. Tension softens. You have become a living blessing. That is the true morning miracle. No lightning, no sudden ecstasy, just a steady presence of peace that turns confusion into harmony by its very being. So tomorrow, when you first open your eyes, pause before speaking. Let silence greet you. Then, as the first light touches your face, whisper these simple affirmations. I am divinely guided in all I do. My path unfolds in perfect timing. Every cell of my body rejoices in divine order. Everything I touch prospers. Hold them not as effort, but as gentle recognition of what already is. Breathe them, feel them, then rise. The day will rise to meet you. The subconscious, tutored by your first thoughts, will spend the hours ahead building circumstances that agree with your decree. You will begin to notice small coincidences, helpful people, timely answers, each a ripple from the words spoken in the first light. When evening comes again, you will look back and see the quiet pattern, how the tone of your morning shaped the entire melody of your day. This is the simple secret most overlooked. The universe answers not the loud voice, but the consistent one. Each sunrise is another chance to begin anew. Each morning word is another brushstroke on the canvas of destiny. So let tomorrow's first word be light. Let it be gratitude. Let it be peace, and watch as the day becomes a reflection of the harmony you spoke into it. For 7 days, keep a gentle watch over your words. Let this be your quiet experiment in peace. A week may seem a small span, yet within it you will witness how language shapes the air you live in. Every syllable you utter moves outward like a ripple across still water. It touches minds you will never meet, returns to you changed and magnified. Speech is never idle. The tongue is a craftsman of the unseen. On the first morning, begin with silence. Feel the desire to speak rise and let it pass. Listen to the hum of life, the wind in the trees, the murmur of the city, the pulse of your own heart. In that listening, you will sense that all of nature speaks a single word: order. When you finally open your mouth, let your first sentence agree with that harmony. You may say softly, "I choose words that heal." Throughout the day, notice how often speech springs from habit rather than thought. You will hear yourself preparing small complaints, quick judgments, meaningless chatter. Do not scold yourself, simply pause and let them dissolve. Replace each with something kinder or with silence itself. This is the first discipline of the word fast, restraint born of awareness. When you hold the tongue still, the mind learns quiet strength. By the second day, the inner noise begins to lessen. You feel space between thought and speech, room enough to choose. In that space lies freedom. The ancient texts say, "Be still and know that I am God." Stillness is not absence of life, it is alignment with life. Every moment you refrain from careless speech, you align more deeply with the creative order that sustains you. Let your words now become deliberate acts of building. When you speak of your health, let it be as though you are blessing the body. I am grateful for strength growing within me. When you speak of another, let it be as though you are watering a garden. May peace go with them. When you must correct or refuse, do so with gentleness. The law of correspondence ensures that what you give in tone returns in kind. On the third day, you will notice the world responding, conversations lighten, quarrels fade, small kindnesses appear unexpectedly. It is not that people have changed, it is that your vibration has become easier to meet. Words, like tuning forks, set the frequency of our environment, speak peace, and peace answers. Midway through the week, you may feel the challenge of old habits. The urge to criticize or to dramatize may tug at you. Smile inwardly and remember, you are fasting not from joy but from waste. Each time you refrain, you store strength. Each kind sentence is nourishment. Each silence is a form of prayer. When you realize this, the fast becomes a feast. By the sixth day, speech has slowed to its natural rhythm. You find that listening has grown keen. People confide in you because your presence feels safe. You begin to understand the power of gentle language, not as decoration but as medicine. The voice that once scattered energy now gathers it. You are no longer throwing words into the wind, you are sowing them with purpose. On the seventh day, stand quietly somewhere beneath the open sky. Feel the breath moving through you and remember the week that has passed. Consider how light your mind feels, how clear your inner space has become. This is what it means to fast from careless speech. You have not deprived yourself, you have returned to the original diet of truth. Now break the fast with a blessing. Say aloud to the world around you, may every word I speak henceforth carry peace. May my language be an instrument of healing. May my voice remember that it was born of love. Let that be your vow. Carry it forward into the ordinary business of days. When you speak to a friend, when you write an email, when you answer the simplest question, feel the quiet strength behind the word. It is not volume that grants power, but purity. A single calm phrase born of understanding has more force than 1,000 anxious speeches. The purpose of the 7-day word fast is not silence alone, but transformation. In learning to guard your tongue, you learn to guard your thought. In guarding your thought, you guard your life. Speech, as mind and circumstance form one continuous circle, purify one and the others follow. When you return to ordinary speech, you will find yourself choosing words as a painter chooses color, with care, with purpose, with awareness of beauty. You will feel the subtle shift in your body too. Muscles relax, the breath deepens, the heart slows. The body understands gentle language. It responds to kindness even when that kindness is self-spoken. This is the quiet miracle of discipline. For 7 days you have lived as though every syllable mattered, and indeed it always has. You have discovered that language is not merely a tool but a living current. To speak is to create. To remain silent when tempted to harm is to protect creation. The discipline of these days becomes the character of your soul. When you lie down at night after the 7th day, whisper one final thought. I have spoken peace, and peace has spoken back. Let sleep take you in that certainty. Tomorrow words will return to you, richer, calmer, clearer. They will know their place again as servants of light. There comes a moment when silence after discipline ripens into a softer strength. Forgiveness. It is the most difficult of all arts because it asks the heart to loosen its hold on stories that once kept it safe. Yet without forgiveness, the mind cannot stay clear, and without clarity, even the gentlest word loses its power. Sit quietly and let memory rise like the tide. Faces will appear, old words echoing through time. Some will bring warmth, others will tighten the chest. Do not turn away. Watch them as one watches clouds drifting across the sky. They are nothing but shapes in the moving weather of thought. Behind them lies the unchanging sky of your true self. Whisper within, I release you and I am released. Say it not to excuse harm, but to free both prisoner and jailer, for they have always been the same. Each grudge is a stone in the river, slowing the flow of life. As you let the sink and settle, the current begins to move again, clear and strong. Forgiveness is not forgetting, it is remembering differently. When you look again upon an old wound and see that it has taught you compassion, the pain becomes wisdom. The lesson remains, but the sting is gone. This is how the soul heals itself, by changing the meaning of the past. If there is someone you cannot yet forgive, begin with willingness. Say quietly, I am willing to see peace in place of this. The mind will resist at first, for it has built walls of justification. Do not argue, simply repeat. Willingness is the crack through which light enters. Keep at it, and one day you will feel a subtle shift. The burden lessens, the breath deepens. That is grace at work. Remember also to forgive yourself. Many carry the quiet guilt of years like hidden chains. Speak gently to that memory as you would to a child. You did the best you could with what you knew then. I bless you and release you. The heart cannot open outward until it first opens inward. Self-forgiveness is the door to mercy, and mercy is the highest form of strength. When forgiveness becomes your daily habit, protection follows naturally. A heart free of resentment radiates peace that nothing can penetrate. Anger invites conflict. Serenity dissolves it. This is the shield not made of metal but of understanding. To walk through the world in calm awareness is to walk clothed in invisible armor. Imagine yourself surrounded by a quiet field of light. It is not something you must create. It has always been there, responding to the tone of your thought. When your mind is filled with goodwill, the field brightens. When you brood on harm, it dims. Each morning renew it with simple words. Divine love surrounds me, enfolds me, and protects me. Feel the truth of it, not as defense, but as recognition that love itself is the only safety there has ever been. I once knew a man who lived in constant fear of illness, of failure, of other people's opinions. He fought shadows and grew weary. One evening he decided to stop fighting and begin blessing. Wherever he went, he silently said, "Peace be in this place." The more he blessed, the safer he felt. Within a few weeks his body relaxed, his sleep deepened, and opportunities returned. Nothing outside me changed, he said, yet everything did. The field had brightened because the mind had forgiven the world for being what it was. Forgiveness and protection are two sides of the same act, choosing peace. When you no longer carry hidden battles, life stops mirroring conflict. When you speak kindly within, the world responds in kind. The old scriptures say, perfect love casts out fear. In plain terms, love and fear cannot occupy the same space. Choose one, and the other dissolves. At night before sleep, gather the day in your mind. Recall its scenes like pages in a book. For each person you met, say inwardly, peace go with you. For each moment of tension, say, I let it pass. Then turn to yourself. I have done my part in light. I rest now in safety. Let that be the last sound in your thoughts. The mind that sleeps in forgiveness wakes renewed. In the morning, reaffirm your protection, not with fear, but with faith. Whisper, only good can come to me today, for only good lives in my thought. You will notice how calm encounters become, how rarely conflict finds you. It is not luck, it is the natural law of resonance. What you radiate, you receive. And when old memories return, as they sometimes will, meet them gently. Say, thank you for showing me where I was closed, I choose to open now. The wave will subside, leaving still water behind. This is the rhythm of the inner life, contraction, release, renewal. Through it, peace becomes not a visitor, but a home. Carry this practice through your days, and you will discover that forgiveness is not an act you perform, but a climate you live in. Protection is not a wall you build, but a light that naturally surrounds a peaceful heart. In such a state, the world's noise fades to its proper distance, and the voice within grows clear again, guiding you quietly through each choice, each meeting, each word. When night returns, repeat the blessing once more. Divine love surrounds me, enfolds me, and protects me. All is well. Let sleep come to that rhythm, and the current of life will continue its silent healing. When the heart has tasted peace and the tongue has learned gentleness, something new begins to stir. The sense that you are not alone in this current of life. Every mind, every beating heart moves within the same invisible ocean of thought. Your quiet word sends ripples through it, touching shores you may never see. What you bless in yourself blesses the world. What you curse returns through the same tide. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine that ocean of light surrounding the planet, wave upon wave of consciousness. See countless minds as lamps upon the surface, some bright, some dim, all longing toward the same dawn. As you breathe, let the thought rise. We are one life in many forms. Feel how the breath expands, how tension falls away, the burden of separateness begins to lift. Group word power begins here, in the recognition that the same law of creation that governs the individual magnifies when two or more agree in peace. A single candle dispels darkness nearby. 1,000 joined can turn night into morning. When you gather with others in shared goodwill, your words do not merely add, they resonate, forming harmonics of intention that reach farther than any solitary whisper could travel. If you have family, begin there. Before a meal, let one simple sentence be spoken together. We give thanks for life, for love for one another. If you work with others, begin the day with a quiet minute of stillness, not as ritual but as tuning, each mind aligning like instruments in an unseen orchestra. The day that follows will move with less friction because harmony has been established before action. In communities across the world, people have discovered the same secret under different names: prayer circle, meditation group, mindful gathering. The form is not the power, the sincerity is. When hearts unite in goodwill, even silently, the field brightens. Researchers may measure it as coherence. Mystics feel it as grace. It is the same phenomenon, the law responding to unified intent. Once each week, take a few minutes to send blessings outward. Think of those who labor, those who suffer, those who rejoice. Let no category be excluded. Speak softly within. May peace reach every mind. May healing reach every heart. May love guide every hand. Do not strain to believe. Simply release the words like doves into the sky. You will feel a warmth move through you. That is the return current. In giving, you receive the assurance that goodness is real and working through you. And when you meet others who share this understanding, join your voices. Affirm together. Every cell of our bodies is under divine order now. Everything we touch prospers. We are divinely guided in all we do. Divine love surrounds us, enfolds us, and protects us. Pause after each sentence, letting the echo settle. The silence between phrases is as important as the words themselves. It is the space where the power gathers. You will notice something subtle. Even when the group disperses, the resonance remains. The next time you face a challenge, a calm certainty will rise unbidden. That is TC, the strength of shared faith stored within you. It is as though the combined goodwill of others continues to breathe through your own heart. Collective affirmation does not end in meetings. It extends into daily encounters. A smile exchanged, a word of encouragement, a patient listening. Each act continues the circle. You become a transmitter of quiet courage. The world, sensing that peace, begins to trust itself again. When doubt whispers that one person's kindness changes little, remember the law. No vibration is lost. A kind thought travels farther than sight, altering the probabilities of unseen events. The smallest act of goodwill may be the hinge upon which a stranger's day turns toward hope. You cannot measure the reach of light, only its presence. As evening draws near, renew your link to the greater circle. Imagine every soul you have blessed today as a point of light glowing softly in the distance. Whisper within, we are held in one harmony, all is well. Let that vision accompany you into sleep. The world will continue to spin, but your consciousness will have joined the quiet work of healing that never ceases. And so the path of the word reaches its full arc, from the single seed of thought, to speech, to deed, to shared vibration. The river that began as a spring in the heart now flows through valleys and cities, nourishing fields unseen. Wherever you walk, the current walks with you. Each morning and night, keep one final affirmation close. My word is my seed. My seed is my reality. Tonight I plant life, health, and abundance for myself and for all. Repeat it softly until it feels less like repetition and more like remembering. The group you join in spirit will feel it whether near or far, for the law of mind knows no distance. Thus the work of a single soul becomes the work of many. The whisper of one heart becomes the chorus of humanity, slowly learning to speak peace again. You have become part of that music now, quiet, steady, luminous. Let it play through you in every thought, every breath, every word. There comes a morning when the invisible becomes visible, The seed you planted in quiet faith breaks the surface, and what was once only word and feeling begins to take form. It is a sacred moment, yet it arrives so gently that you may overlook it. A worry dissolves, an opportunity appears, a pain lessens without announcement. The law has moved silent and sure. What you called faith was in truth knowledge that the unseen is the greater reality. Many doubt because they demand spectacle, but divine order seldom enters with noise. It unfolds as a flower does, unhurried, inevitable. Every affirmation you have spoken was a brushstroke, every image held in peace, a line upon the canvas. Now the picture begins to show itself. You stand before the evidence of your own word. Remember how creation began in Genesis, not with form first, but with declaration, let there be, and there was. The pattern remains unchanged. The invisible word precedes visible manifestation. You have learned to speak not as one begging, but as one creating, knowing that the law hears feeling as command. When your word and your emotion agree, creation must answer. Consider the builder with his blueprint. Long before the walls rise, he sees every arch and corridor in mind. So too the subconscious has been at work, assembling the unseen structure of your desire. Now as you move through daily life, you begin to encounter the results. A new contact, a sudden insight, an inner calm that draws correct action. These are the outer bricks of the inner edifice. A man once wrote to me. He had lost his business through fear. Each night, he had lain awake rehearsing failure. Then one evening he decided to reverse the picture. Before sleep he said, "Everything I touch prospers. I am divinely guided in all I do." He pictured clients smiling, agreements fulfilled, abundance flowing. For weeks nothing appeared to change, yet within him the tension melted. Then a former associate called, offering partnership in a new venture. He accepted calmly, certain of success. Within a year, his prosperity exceeded all previous gains. The outer result was merely the echo of his inward correction. So it is with every domain of life. Healing, abundance, harmony, each follows the same rhythm. Word, image, feeling, manifestation. The word plants, the subconscious grows, the world harvests. When you understand this, you cease striving. You no longer dig up the seed to see if it grows. You trust the soil. You live as though the harvest were certain, because in truth it already exists within. This is faith matured, not blind belief, but the quiet confidence that law and love never fail. You no longer ask, when will it happen? Instead you say, it is unfolding now. You act, speak, and think from that assurance. Life responds accordingly. The physician may call it psychosomatic improvement. The mystic calls it answered prayer. Both describe the same harmony, mind, body, and circumstance aligning under the one principle of creative law. And yet, remember humility. Do not claim personal power, for the law is impartial. It is the infinite using your consciousness as instrument. The river does not boast of its current, it simply flows. Likewise, you let the divine current move through you, blessing others as naturally as breathing. When you witness results, give thanks immediately. Gratitude seals the manifestation. It acknowledges the source. Say quietly, I thank the infinite intelligence for perfect expression. That act of thanksgiving multiplies what you have received, for appreciation is the magnet of increase. Now you see how all things interconnect. The quiet word before sleep, the morning creation, the 7-day fast from negativity, the forgiveness that freed the channel, the group resonance that magnified the power, all have prepared this moment of visible fruit. Nothing was wasted. Each discipline tuned you to the same frequency as your desired good. The world merely mirrors that inner harmony. Look around and you will see that everything living obeys this law. The tree yields fruit only after seasons of unseen work. The tide answers the pull of the moon without resistance. So the human soul must yield in trust to the rhythm of its own creative word. Impatience is the only enemy. Doubt is merely uprooted faith. Stay steady, speak kindly, feel the end fulfilled. The harvest will come in its appointed time. Now as you listen, affirm gently within, every cell of my body is under divine order now. All that I need flows to me in perfect time and sequence. I am guided, protected, and supplied by infinite wisdom. Divine love surrounds me, enfolds me, and leads me into abundance. Let these sentences roll through you like soft thunder. You may not yet see the full horizon, but you will feel the wind change. That is enough. The seed knows the way to the light. In the days to come, watch for coincidences, what the outer world calls chance. They are the footprints of the law in motion. A book falls open to a line you needed, a stranger offers a clue, an idea visits in a dream. Smile and say, "Thank you, Spirit, for showing me my own creation." Gratitude keeps the channel clear. There is an ancient phrase, "By their fruits you shall know them." The fruits of the word are peace, health, and joyful usefulness. If these are increasing, you are walking rightly. If turmoil arises, return to the inner altar. Renew your word, restore your feeling of harmony. The law never condemns. It simply reflects until you correct the cause. That is mercy disguised as mathematics. When at last you stand amidst visible proof, do not stop speaking the word. Creation is perpetual. There is no end to growth. You have become co-worker with the infinite, and the universe ever invites further beauty through you. Continue planting thoughts of blessing, prosperity, healing, forgiveness, unity. Each day is another field, each thought another seed. The garden of life expands without limit. Close this part with a deep breath. Feel the stillness that follows. Whisper quietly, "It is done. It is manifest. I rest in the assurance of divine order." And let that peace extend outward to the edges of your world, touching all that concerns you. The creative word has fulfilled its promise, and you are witness to the unfolding. The journey brings us here, the quiet summit of realization, where you no longer seek proof, for you have become the proof. The river has met the ocean. The seed has become its own harvest. You have spoken the word in the dark, tended it with feeling, guarded it with silence, and watched it rise into form. Now a deeper knowing dawns. You were never merely a petitioner before an unseen power. You were and are that power in expression, the eternal mind speaking through a finite tongue. In the beginning, the word was not spoken once long ago. It is spoken eternally through every soul who learns to think in harmony with life. You are part of that living utterance now, the echo of the original, "Let there be." Each thought of kindness continues creation. Each affirmation of love renews Genesis in miniature. When you say, "I am healed," the universe whispers back, "So it is." When you declare, "I am guided," the path unfolds beneath your feet. When you bless, blessing multiplies. For the law of the word cannot contradict itself. It can only create according to the vibration you release. Look now upon your life with new eyes. Every memory, even the painful ones, was preparation. Every shadow taught you contrast, sharpening your longing for light. Every delay was mercy disguised as patience, teaching you to trust the unseen. You stand now as an artist who has learned that the canvas was never outside. It was always the mind. And the brush, your words. Every phrase dipped in emotion, every thought traced in faith, every affirmation laid upon the fabric of consciousness. You have painted your world with your own declarations, so let this be your final revelation. The law is not somewhere above nor buried deep below. It is within. It is the living intelligence breathing through your lungs, pulsing through your veins, thinking through your thoughts. It never sleeps, never forgets, never condemns. It only obeys. As you decree, so shall it be established. This is not poetry. It is mechanics of spirit, precise, unwavering, beautiful. Therefore speak now, not from need, but from knowing. Do not beg life to bless you. Stand and bless it first. Say with quiet authority, "Everything I touch prospers." Not because you hope it will, but because it cannot do otherwise when touched by consciousness illumined with love. Say, "Every cell of my body is under divine order now." Not as a wish, but as a recognition of truth, the body forever reflecting the mind's command. Say, "I am divinely guided in all I do," because guidance is not something you must summon. It is the natural whisper of the infinite within you. Say, "Divine love surrounds me, enfolds me, and protects me." Because that love is not a distant angel, it is the very vibration of your being. As these words move through you, feel the field shift. The air around you thickens with life, with invisible electricity. The very space seems to listen, for it does listen. and it remembers. Every word uttered in faith imprints upon the fabric of reality, and reality adjusts, not suddenly, not dramatically perhaps, but faithfully. The invisible architects set their hands to work, and soon the world must conform to the blueprint you have drawn in feeling. Now close your eyes, breathe as though inhaling light, exhale as though releasing centuries of false belief. You are not the sum of your history, you are the threshold of a new creation. All the stories you once believed about limitation dissolve here. The voice within says quietly, "Behold, I make all things new." Let that whisper move through every chamber of your being. Let it loosen the tightness of old fear. Let it sweep the corners of the mind until all that remains is calm expectancy. Your word is your wand, your seed, your decree, your covenant. It does not return void. Speak to your world as one who commands the morning. Bless your home, bless your work, bless your enemies until they too become friends in consciousness. Let no idle word fall from your lips. Every syllable must serve either peace or silence. The universe will echo whatever note you strike. Therefore strike the chord of harmony, of gratitude, of divine remembrance. And when life tests you, smile. Do not ask why this. Say instead, this too is good, though I do not yet see how. The moment you say it, the hidden good begins to reveal itself. No circumstance has power over the one who understands the law of the word. You are not at the mercy of outer things, they are at the mercy of your inner decree. When fear knocks, answer with faith. When doubt whispers, speak your affirmation louder. When pain appears, do not curse it, bless it with understanding. Say, you are but a shadow seeking my light, and the shadow will flee. The world in 2025 trembles with noise, voices shouting of lack, conflict, uncertainty. But you, listener, you are the quiet axis around which that storm may still itself. You do not join the clamor, you speak peace into it. For one voice aligned with divine law is mightier than 1,000 voices of confusion. Your calm word carries authority because it is rooted in the eternal. So as this long teaching draws to its close, let the revelation settle deep within. You are the gatekeeper of your mind. You are the high priest of your temple of thought. You are the gardener of your inner field, and the infinite waits only for your command. Therefore declare with me now, slowly, reverently, as the final seal upon this sacred instruction, affirmation loop. The seal of the word, I am life expressing itself through love. I am guided by divine wisdom in every decision. Every cell of my body vibrates with order and vitality. All channels of supply are open. Abundance flows freely. Peace fills my home. Harmony surrounds my relationships. My word is my seed. My seed is my reality. Tonight I plant life, health, and abundance. Tomorrow I walk in their harvest. Divine love surrounds me, enfolds me, and protects me. Everything I touch prospers. I am divinely guided in all I do. My life is the living proof of the law fulfilled. Repeat it until your breath becomes rhythm, until the phrases move of their own accord, until silence remains, a silence full of power. Then rest in that silence, for it is God's own presence. You need no other sign. The miracle is already accomplished. It is done, it is manifest, and it is very good.